Hi, this is Steve Aul, the Aul Financial Group. Wanted to welcome everybody to the July 2nd Town Hall meeting of the Aul Financial Group. We're going to go ahead and get started. 4th of July, right around the weekend, Independence Day weekend. Please be safe. Enjoy the fireworks, but be safe when you're out there doing it. A couple of things that we're looking at, the big, beautiful bill, I don't like the fact that they're rushing it through to try to get it through by the 4th of July. So this is being recorded on Wednesday. So I don't know if they're going to get it done so they can actually vote on that on Thursday or not. I would like to see some changes to it personally before that it gets through, but I'll talk more about that here in a few minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the first part of this town hall over to Will.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, a lot of things going on. What we always say, we need a plan to be able to be prepared for whatever happens, right? So I am going to talk about today, just following my pattern or of education. We are going to talk about retirement assets, retirement income, right? The tax traps. You need to know what type of income or what type of assets, what is the label before you will draw. One of the things that we do every time we meet clients here is actually know what type of assets do they have, right? We call it retirement assets, pre-tax money, non-qualified money, right? Tax-free money. There's a lot of things going on, and especially whenever something happens or life happens, you need to withdraw to be able to meet that income, right? Or meet those expenses, or try to travel, buy a new car, or many things. So it's all about to know what type of money you take from the right pocket, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is the one that is really popular, right? Quoting Steve, back in the day, they taught you to put money into this vehicle because they promise you that will be eventually, you will be in a lower tax bracket, right? We're talking about 401ks, IRAs, we call it qualified accounts, pre-tax money. So you have an employer, you work for that employer, and the employer actually matches you. You can contribute that tax defer. You don't pay taxes at that moment, but they tell you after 59 and a half, you can withdraw without a penalty, but you will pay the taxes at that time, that whatever tax bracket you are at that moment. So we're talking about, again, 401ks, 403bs for the ones that are working on for profits, IRAs, and they are 100% taxable every time you withdraw. Okay, they tax in the ordinary income, and that follows whatever tax bracket you are in that moment. You also have to take requirement minimum distributions, or RMDs. And remember, RMDs affects in different way if you have a 401k or you have an IRA, right? You have more questions about it, please let us know or come and visit us, and we will talk to you about that, because there's a lot of things that affects the RMD if you have an IRA or a 401k. Also, it could increase your Medicare. Why? Because having an excessive amount of pre-tax at the moment that you have to get your required minimum distributions, sometimes you have to take money, or you have to withdraw money and pay taxes of money that you do not need. So that's a really important one. You need to plan about that, because a lot of times we just put that pre-tax money and we leave it grow, and we don't know what to do by the time actually we hitting those requirement minimum distributions. Then we're going to the other part, tax-free incomes. Like, how can we have tax-free income, right? Roth IRAs. Roth IRAs, you put money, you pay taxes at that moment, and later you can allow that vehicle to grow your assets tax-free, and you can actually take it without any taxes. That usually you can use it for a legacy plan because you want to leave your kids or your heirs tax-free money. You do not want to leave them all this pre-tax money because it could be tax ticking bomb. Also, another things that we utilize a lot to help clients, right, is life insurance. Those type of life insurance, just to, give a general concept, you do have a cash value. You can utilize a life insurance. It grows through the time, and you later can use it as a bank, family bank, to be able to borrow against that life insurance, and that it's a loan. And loan do not pay taxes because you're actually borrowing against that policy. So thus tax-free income is really good to diversify in this type. You can have Roth IRAs, but you also can have life insurance. The next one, it will be taxable income. In this taxable income, we're talking about accounts or money that you actually pay taxes already. Things that you put in your checking account, savings account. You have a CD. We call it non-qualified, right? Whenever you put a specific amount of assets and it starts growing, you're non-qualified, you only pay capital gains. So we're talking about brokerage accounts, investments accounts, savings accounts, CDs, right? Some rental income too. Interest is taxed as income. So be careful with the long-term or short-term gains, right? Because they can actually, those short-term gains are taxable like regular income. So be careful with those. If you have someone that tells you that they can trade your accounts, we don't want to be trade a lot of your accounts that are non-qualified under a year because you may have tax consequences in the future. The next one and the last one, it will be guarantee income. We utilize those vehicles too, right? One of those vehicles are pensions, private pensions, annuities, income annuities. So this one provide you a guarantee income. We can add Social Security right there too, because you actually put money all your working years to be able to get this Social Security. So we do have all the type of assets or income that you may use in retirement. The idea is to know what pocket utilize at the right moment. So any questions, please let us know. We help you about that. We have a lot of clients come in and asking, if I need to buy this, I need to travel on this, what part or what type of my funds should I get out? So that was that for today. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Will. I've been brought into and been asked a couple questions in the last couple of weeks about Roth conversions and backdoor Roths. Now, I've watched a lot of different videos about this, and a lot of times I'll hear a backdoor Roth is you contributed, pre-tax dollars to your IRA or your 401k, and then you go ahead and shift them over to a Roth account. In both of those cases, that's really not considered a backdoor Roth. That's more considered just a Roth conversion. The ways that it can be done with the backdoor Roth, if you're still contributing to a 401k and they give you the availability to do it to a Roth 401k account, at almost any time you can take your contributions from that Roth account and move them over to your Roth account outside. So you've made contributions. Now, people say, well, that's not really a backdoor. And I say, yeah, it is, because of the fact that if your income's too high, you can't contribute to a Roth IRA account. $7,000, $8,000 max, depending on where you're at income wise, and then it can go away. But if your company allows you to put money into a Roth 401k account, you're not susceptible to those limits. Then you can move it out to the Roth account. So that's one way that you can look at it. The other thing that we have to look at is non-deductible contributions to an IRA account. I am going to state right up here in front, please be careful doing this, because if you have other IRA accounts, they are going to be what's called the pro rata rule. That pro rata rule says a percentage of everything that you take from that account from that point forward, part of it is from the non-deductible and part of it is from the deductible. So they have what's called the pro rata rule. If you had $80,000 in an IRA account, a traditional IRA account, and you had $20,000 in non-deductible contributions, that gives you 100 grand. 80% of everything you're going to do from that point forward is going to be taxable. The other 20% was the Roth. You would have to make that calculation every time that you do it. So please be careful. I have had people that come in and say, well, I do backdoor Roth conversions. And I'm going, you've got a significant amount in your IRA account and you just contributed $8,000 non-deductible to your IRA. Well, that's a different account. That doesn't count. And I'm going to tell you that's not true. You have to add those two together, and then a very small percentage would actually go into that account. So if you're thinking about backdoor Roths, remember, it's an aggregate of all of your IRA accounts. When I had to do this for my wife, I had to convert almost all of her IRA accounts to Roth IRA accounts. Then she had no IRAs. So I could make a non-deductible contribution to my wife's account. Shortly after that, convert it to a Roth. That's a true backdoor Roth. Ways that you could possibly get around if you have other money in IRA accounts, but you make too much and you can't do Roth contributions. You could, if you're still working and your company will accept a rollover into your 401k, you could move that. A 401k cannot take your non-deductible contributions into their accounts. So you would end up with just the non-deductible. At that point, you could convert it to a Roth and you would have to pay no taxes. So I'm going to say there is a difference between Roth conversions and backdoor Roths. Be careful with backdoor Roths. You know, if you're a client and we want to look at it, give me a call. Because if you do this on your own and you mess it up, your accountant's going to get very angry because they're going to have to do a calculation every year you take a distribution, how much of it was regular IRA and how much of it was non-deductible. The problem that happens with that, when you pass away, that stays for your children. So they have to do that calculation. What happens in a lot of cases, people don't want to do the calculations, and you put non-deductible money into an IRA account, and when you take it out later, you pay taxes on it. So be really, really, really careful. If you've got questions about that, please call the office and let's sit down and talk about backdoor Roths and Roth conversions, because I'll always say it. I believe that reducing or eliminating taxes in retirement is the best thing you can do for a successful retirement. So if those are things that you'd like to talk about, please give us a call at the office. I want to thank everybody for referring their friends and family to the Aul Financial Group. We've had a tremendous year of referrals. So we like doing business with people like you. So thank you very much for becoming a part of our family.